In today's video, I'll be playing in the biggest illegal underground poker game New York City has to offer. Most people go to the Big Apple to chase Wall Street and Broadway. I'm here to get a piece of the poker pie. It's like 38 degrees. My face is starting to freeze, but this young man has put in a little bird call to me. Don't make the hike from any home games, but when you're in New York, you have literally no other option. There's no casinos out here.
If you're in New York, you gotta hit me up. You gotta play some poker.
There it is. Well, we're gonna go in right now. Should be some good fun. I'll keep you guys updated as always. I'm just too cold to even... I'm not really all here. Hopefully the poker's better. We look down at Queen 10 offsuit. An early position player raises here. I call from the button, and so do both blinds. A flop comes out, giving us an open-ended straight draw. We can make the nuts in two ways. That's an ace or a 9. The first better in action decides to put out 75. I call and everyone else folds. The turn card's a 9 of clubs, paying baby. The opponent bets once again for 225, and I'm definitely gonna lay the trap here. The river card's the 4 of spades, changes nothing. We still have the nuts, and our opponent checks it over to me. Should I go for it all? Should I go for none of it? We decide to go with the first one. We are all in for $2,650. Several minutes go by before eventually he decides to fold. What a freaking huge loss of value that was. To make up for lost value, Underdog is coming in absolutely clutch. 100% deposit match bonus on up to $100, and there's literally no better time than right now. NFL's divisional round of the playoffs is in full swing, and this weekend we've got an awesome matchup. The 49ers versus the Pack. Obviously, I'm going to take the home team here. We're much higher on the 49ers than we are on the Pack. So I'll be taking both Deebo Samuel and Brock Purdy to go higher. And unfortunately, falling out of love with Mr. Jordan Love, we're going lower. Make sure you use deposit code C2B for your bonus. Outside of that, let's get back to today's video. Can't keep harping on the past. The session must go on. I've got King 10 offsuit and I make it $75 to go. Middle position decides to raise me up to 225. I didn't get all the way over here to New York City to find an underground game to fold these hands. We're bringing the action, baby. I call. The flop ends up giving me top pair and there is a flush draw. When I check it over to my opponent and he bets 175, I'm not going anywhere just yet. When the turn card comes out, the 10 of diamonds, we now improve to 2 pair, albeit the flush does complete. At this point, I check it over to my opponent, who once again bets out for 550. Big bet here, but once again, not going anywhere. We make the call. The river card comes out, not my favorite one, as it comes out the Queen of Clubs. Yeah, not good. One-liner to a straight. You know what I'm saying? Not rocket science. We decide to check it over to our opponent, and our opponent luckily checks it back and shows aces. Don't I love to crack aces? Running good early. A late position super action player decides to limp it in here. I'm in the small blind with ace 7 offsuit. Really crummy hand, but let me tell you, this guy's given so much action, nearly any 2 are good enough, so I decide to isolate to 60. The action player makes a call, and my oh my, we cannot miss the board. We flop top and bottom, baby. He's been going crazy. He's calling everything. I decide to throw out a bet for 60 because, like, why is he going to fold? Yeah, why did you fold, buddy? He ends up making the good laydown. Can't win much more there, but you can't get upset with $60 profit. One of the best things about finding a new game is that people might not know your exact player tendencies. Maybe they do know I'm a psychopath, or maybe not. That's honestly not really what I care about. My goal is to bring the action. As a guest, it's only right. Early position makes it $30 to go, and one of the better players in the game decides to 3-bet to 105. Action's on me here in late position with King Queen offsuit. Not good enough to just call, but oh my goodness, isn't this a great one to mix in a little 4-ball? We make it 300 to go, and only that hijack 3-better decides to call. Flop is, geez Louise, I mean, what did I do to deserve this? Come to an illegal underground game, they say. It'll be rigged, they say. Little do they know it's rigged for me. Top 2 pair. Our opponent checks and we throw out a very tiny bet of 225 and he folds. Gosh darn it. Is anyone going to pay me off tonight? Things are starting to get pretty obvious here. No one's playing back at me, and that's going to give me the green light to bluff, and I don't need to be told twice. This next hand is a great example of that. When I look down at 10-3 of spades and cut off, and I make it $30 to go, both the button and the big blind make the call. We're going 3 ways off to a flop where I end up with a gutter ball. When the action checks over to me, although it's not a great board for me, why not throw out a bet, baby? We got a gutter ball, 60 bucks to go for the 6 that we need. Only the big blind calls, and the turn card comes out the king of diamonds. As we talked about before, they're going to let me walk over them. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. When he checks to me, this is the great card to double barrel. All of our bluffing hands now turn a pair. Ace, king, king, queen, king highs. I mean, I can have a king, right? I throw out a bet for 140, and our opponent thinks about it for some time before folding. Before we can fold our cards, we windmill the 10-3 suited, baby. It feels good to get a bluff through. Early position raises to $30. I'm in the small blind with ace-7 of clubs. I decide to just call. I don't love this, honestly, but to be fair, I only had $3,000 to my name at this exact moment, considering that there's no ATM that I feel comfortable going to. If I bloat the size of these pots and I lose my ass, I lose my cash too. All that to be said, let's play a little passive. Let's control the size of the pot, right? We're going to a flop here, heads up, that comes out giving us a backdoor flush draw and a backdoor straight draw, but nothing else really, at all. We check it over to our opponent, who bets 30, and I go ahead and make the call. Once again, definitely an opponent that's bluffable, but also one of the better opponents at the table. The turn card is probably the best one in the deck. It comes out the 3 of clubs, improving me to a flush draw and a straight draw. I check it over to my opponent, and once again, he bets $105. Once again, at this point, me losing a bunch of cash, being slightly up, is playing a little bit of a factor in here in my next decision, and I just decide to call. I pretty much hate this play. The river card comes out the 3 of spades and out pairs the board, and I do something super odd. I started thinking, hey, what if I throw out a dumb little blocker bet? I can sometimes get my opponent to fold slightly better, and obviously I don't have to call a big bet or anything like that. So I throw out 25 bucks, and I might as well have lit $25 on fire and gone to jail because that is technically breaking the law. Our opponent snap calls and shows king, jack. Ends up here with top pair, and that's definitely better than ace high. First misstep of the day for sure. One thing I will tell you first and foremost is you never want to overstay your welcome in these underground games, as you really never know what can happen. I'm not saying anything crazy is going to happen, but look, in this next hand, Under the Gun makes it $25 to go, and Passive Huron has left the building, and Psycho Huron is back. Action packed, King 8 offsuit, it's a 3-bet, why the hell not? I make it 75. Next to act then cold calls, and the initial raiser calls as well. And geez Louise, and okay, we make 2 pair again. Top and bottom, what the hell is going on? Really, really wet board texture here, as there is a flush draw and straight draws out there. So when the action's on me, I decide to bet $100, a little bit on the middling size. Don't love my bet here, but we're going with it. Only the initial raiser calls, and we're going off to a turn card that now brings in a second flush draw. Luckily for us, we're still pretty confident with our hands, so when our opponent checks to us, I gotta crank the price up. It'd be really dumb for me to go small here, as we're looking to get calls and people to stack off with their big draws. So I make it 500, and once again, no one wants to pay me off. It's almost useless to run this good and just never get paid off. That will conclude our voyage to the New York underground scene. Thanks for watching the hand breakdown portion of this video. Let's toss it over to me in the aftermath.
Well, luckily for us, we have actually made it back to the comfort of our own home. To be quite honest, I didn't feel comfortable walking around New York City at 3 or 4 in the morning at, I don't know, 35, 30 degrees at night when a snowstorm was on the way, and telling people out loud how much money I was walking around with in the public street. Yeah, really, really fun situation. Again, it was a really great group of guys. I did feel comfortable. I wouldn't have honestly probably ended up going if I didn't, or I would have probably left if I felt uncomfortable. All that being said, I've heard some horror stories in any home game, and luckily for me, it ended up panning out in my favor. We were into the game for $3,000 and out for $45.24 if I'm not mistaken, so a small profit, made about half my initial buy-in, and I wasn't exaggerating. I only took $3,000 to the game. That's literally all the cash I had, and there was no chance in hell that I was going to be going to an ATM that late in the night. If you guys have any recommendations or any home games you guys would like to hit me up about, hopefully I can scout them out a little bit before I commit to them. But honestly, that's been a lot of fun. Once again, if you guys want to use that $100 100% match bonus for Underdog, the code is down below. C2B made it super easy. You can also click the link. And lastly, if you guys ever want to play with me on the Splash Squads, when I do the big road trip that I'll let you guys know about, that'll all be happening where I'll be playing online on there. So once again, links are all in the description. If you guys ever want to play with me on the online felt, Splash Squad is the only place you'll ever find me. Link at the top of the description. All that to be said, I appreciate you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoy these type of videos, and I will see you guys possibly at a home game near you. Who the fuck knows? Love you guys. Bye.
I'm tweaking, but I still gotta fight my demons.
Oh, wait. Stay happy, stay healthy, and more importantly, run good at the tables. Love you all. Deuces.
I can do this with my eyes closed. I can do this with my eyes closed.